Soaring postgraduate enrollments. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heiser here and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. Grab your stein of coffee, which I don't have on me at the moment, and let's have a look at this article from ABC News discussing postgraduate enrollments soar as job seekers wait out a competitive market at university. Now, that's one of the old sayings during a tough times, during a recession. You know, you go and have kids, or you go back to university to improve upon your education. Now, let's hope that the postgraduate study people are doing is beneficial. I shared a post recently on my Facebook group where, a PhD graduate that had hyper-focused on one particular philosopher was complaining that they couldn't get work and were in debt to the eyeballs. It's kind of stupid to do that. You need to look at where there's market demand for your education and if there's actually a payback. I have 2 university degrees. Architecture is a 2-degree program. It's suffering from degree inflation now because what used to be a bachelor, 2 bachelors for me, is now a bachelor's and a master's. I would argue the quality isn't that much better in the education that you're getting, but the fees, probably, I'll have to check. I know they didn't go up back in the day, but we'll see. So, Australians are enrolling in postgraduate university courses in numbers tipped to reach record highs. Mark Kaplan hadn't had any luck landing a job after completing his engineering degree at the University of New South Wales. Why not, mate? What are you doing? I mean, see, this is the one advantage. Now he's going back for a master's. Damn, it's going to cost him more. This is the one advantage of my degree. Back when I went to QUT, it was one of 2 universities in Australia that had a flexible program where you could work while you studied. So at that QUT, they don't do this anymore, unfortunately. It was flexible full-time. So we had 4 days we could work in an office, and 1 day was our university day. And that day was usually from 8 a.m. to 8 or 9 p.m. They crammed all of our subjects into that 1 day. So for those 4 days, you'd go get a job as a drafting assistant, architectural student, doing all the drafting jobs and working on projects. So you would actually be earning money that wasn't very good. You could get more money being a barista, but you were getting experience in your profession. You were getting responsibilities. You were networking and learning skills that was actually useful. Sadly, they got rid of it. It was one of the key points of difference for QUT. Now they've changed. They've really redesigned the course so much, watered it down, and taken away something that was actually a unique point of difference out there in the market. There's only UTS did the same, and it's kind of a shame because it allowed you to work full-time and study full-time. You could have a family. Older people who wanted to be an architect could go to QUT and still work in practice. You could still run a job working 4 days a week and going 1 day to university. It gave you that flexibility. So, throughout 2020, he applied for several jobs a week, but to no avail. It was a little bit crushing at times when I was facing rejection after rejection, he said. Yeah, that's a sad part of it, getting that first job. This is why, if you're studying architecture, work while you study. Get a job while you're at university. Don't just take a year out, even take a bit longer. Do the last few years of your course before you graduate. Do the last few years part-time. Even if you drag them out to 3 or 4 years, don't worry about it. Because while you're working, you'll be getting more useful and more skills. You don't want to be a graduate because then, boom, all of a sudden your pay goes higher artificially because of market interventions when a student is just as capable as you in actually doing the work. That's what I'd encourage you to do, to get some work. You go through 5 years of university. I did 7. A year of work and still can't find anything. It feels like you've wasted your time. Well, sometimes you may have. That's the problem. That's the challenge. There's a huge opportunity cost going to university. And sure, you can earn more money and have more flexibility, but it still needs to be, it's incumbent upon you to have that networking, that ambition, that drive. You need to get out there. It's not easy, everyone. And going for an engineering, it's not like he did some, pointless generic degree, not like a Bachelor of Business or Arts. He specialized. He did the right thing. Despite graduating with honors from a university placed 3rd in the nation for employment, he's now preparing to study a master's of mechatronic engineering at the University of Melbourne. He believes further specialisation was the best way to spend the next 2 years while the job market bounces back. I'm trying to wait out the bad job market and hopefully find myself in a bit of a better place, he said. Postgraduate courses on average cost more than $20,000. It's a risk I'm willing to take. Well, probably because you're getting it on HECS, mate. You know, there you go. How would you get a job? Well, see, there's also sadly in engineering, there's one disadvantage he has. It's an advantage for being a woman in engineering, guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's out there. I've spoken to lots of engineering practices, and they want to get that diversity. They want to be able to tick those boxes. So, ladies, take advantage of it. Go into engineering if you want to do it. Jump into it if you like the engineering side of things. Now's the time to be pushing up those pay rises. But the problem is he's got no experience. Maybe he has a year of experience, but the first job is always the hardest, guys. It's always the hardest. The best advice I would give in that position would be to network. Get out there. Door knock. Go to events. Get known. Try and do something on the side to keep your skills sharp. Maybe do a postgrad. So enrollments soar. Last year, enrollments in postgraduate study rose sharply across the country. The universities with the highest growth in enrollments for specialized courses include UNSW, James Cook, UQ, Charles Sturt, University of Melbourne, and Curtin. Professor Andrew Norton researches higher education policy at the ANU and said enrollments historically rose when the economy suffered. In recession, more people look for education because it's harder to find a job. The official unemployment rate has fallen by 0.9% since its 7.5% peak in July 2020. More than 900,000 Australians remain out of work. And we've seen a spike in the number of people on youth allowance as well, taking advantage of that to study. See, that's one thing I remember when I was studying, because we were working, you were earning well above the award. It didn't, during busy times, everyone was earning above the award. And I couldn't understand how all these UQ students, because they were full-time architecture students, I couldn't understand how they could afford to do it. And it clicked for me years later, they were all getting youth allowance. They were getting government money. Because I enrolled in the Bachelor of Architecture, which was a 6-year course. And I got into it from year one. And then I didn't know that I had to get a job. So I was out there just frantically looking for work. And the first job I got was at Blythe O'Neill as their network administrator in IT assistant here in Brisbane. And I knew, because I was a nerd, that was a very stressful job, doing network admin in an architectural practice with a bunch of people that don't know anything about computers. Oh boy, I really feel sorry for people who do front desk support. That was very stressful time. Particularly, the backups fail and you're on the phone to America at 1 a.m. No one appreciates it. Anyway, Mr. Norton expected university enrollments to hit record highs in 2021. People with postgraduate qualifications generally do better than those with a bachelor degree, regardless of their subject areas, he said. So here's the thing. Networking, guys. Networking. When you're looking for work, you've got to get out there and meet people. You don't know where an opportunity can appear. Rachel met someone when she moved from Adelaide to Queensland. She did architecture's traditionally 2 degrees. The first degree is just like a Bachelor of Built Environment or Architectural Studies. Then you do the professional qualification, which is now a master's. So Rachel went from Adelaide to QT, and she met a gentleman at church that introduced her to a work opportunity. And her first job was at Fulton Trotter down at Tweed. She worked there. And she still worked on the weekends at a cafe because the pay was so little. I think she still got youth allowance. She could still get $7 or something because her pay was so little. She just didn't bother, or even at $2, she didn't bother filling out the paperwork. So anyway, upskilling to fill a new gap. In northern New South Wales, Eliza Rose has returned to university to upskill after taking a 3-year break from working as a counsellor. The 60-year-old has enrolled in a graduate diploma of psychology at James Cook University in Queensland. Okay, here's the harsh reality. Should someone at that age have access to HECS or HELP? How long is their productive life going to be in the workforce? Maybe another 10 years, maybe 20 years if you're lucky. Should they be forced or required to pay it up front? Just putting it out there, everyone, because I've seen it. I've seen people go back at that age, just perpetual students, just for the sake of it, to do something. Not that she did. I don't know. Maybe she didn't. But I've seen it in architecture, guys. People that have got no chance of getting a job in the profession, coming in at very old and end up never using it. The university is forecasting a 24% increase in both undergraduate and postgraduate enrollments this year. I just want to do something. There you go. I need to get my brain into gear and investigate more issues, she said. She saw an opportunity to boost her income and fill a gap in mental health support in the regional town of Grafton, a need, she said, had been exacerbated by the pandemic. There aren't that many psychologists in town, and people are waiting sometimes 4 and 5 months to get in, she said. She said age was not a barrier to achieving her career goals. I'm helping myself, I'm helping others, she said. Okay, I mean, good on you for doing it, but you've got to realize these are subsidized places. Maybe am I being too harsh again, guys? Am I just being it's these ABC articles, are they just too soft for me? But, I mean, there's my advice to a young person looking to get a job. Just network. Get out there, number one. Meet people. What would your hints and tips be to someone looking for their first job? I went door knocking. Can you do that? Yeah, you can. Restrictions have been lifted in Queensland. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Please leave suggestions that you would give younger people on how to find a job, particularly breaking in. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoy the content I cobbled together here and you want to support the channel, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Aussie Broadband. You can buy merch from Heiser Says, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.